Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So for this video I thought that I'd do something a little different and talk about some of the most expensive and exclusive cars that I've seen in Monaco. And finding supercars and hypercars in Monaco is not too difficult, especially in the summertime, because a lot of people come on holiday and show off their cars. Now, there are 11 different supercars on this list and they are all worth at least $1 million. And how I'll rank these cars is that I'll start with the least expensive car at number 11 and then I'll work my way to car number 1, which will be the most expensive car. So if you have a better idea of what the value of some of these cars are, just let me know in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. And with that being said, let's jump straight into it. McLaren Senna. So the first car on this list, coming in at number 11, is this gold wrap McLaren Senna. Now the McLaren Senna was limited to just 500 units and had an MSRP of $837,000 US. Now when it comes to the resale value, there are quite a few examples on the DuPont Registry website, with one asking $1.249 million, which is a reasonable amount more than the list price. Although I'm pretty sure it would be pretty easy to get close to $1 million just by including a few options from MSO. Now the McLaren Senna has a 4-litre twin-turbo V8 that produces 789 horsepower and 590 pound-feet of torque. It has a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission and redlines at 7,500 RPM. McLaren claims that it will do 0 to 62 miles per hour in 2.8 seconds, 0 to 124 miles per hour in 6.8 seconds, and has a top speed that is limited to 208 miles per hour. It weighs in at 1,309 kilograms or 2,886 pounds. So back in 2019, the McLaren Senna did a lap around Hockenheim in an insanely fast 1 minute 40.79 seconds. And to put that into perspective, the track-focused Lamborghini Huracan STO recently did a lap time of 1 minute 48.6 seconds. So the Senna is almost 8 seconds faster around that track. Ferrari F12 TDF. So coming in second on this list at number 10 is this stunning Ferrari F12 TDF. Basically, it's the track-focused version of the F12 Berlinetta. With just 799 units made, it's no surprise that the F12 TDF is an expensive car. When the F12 TDF was first released in the US, it had an MSRP of $490,500. Now, when looking at examples online on websites like DuPont Registry, there is a super low mileage example that is asking $1.395 million. So if you were somehow able to get your hands on an F12 TDF when they were first released, it has proved to be a pretty good investment. The Ferrari F12 TDF has a stunning 6.3-litre naturally aspirated V12 engine that produces 769 horsepower and 520 pound-feet of torque. It uses a 7-speed F1 dual-clutch transmission and redlines at 8,900 RPM. And it's pretty fast. It will do 0 to 62 miles per hour in 2.9 seconds, and then 0 to 124 miles per hour will take 7.9 seconds. It has a top speed of 211 miles per hour and weighs in at 1,520 kilograms or 3,351 pounds. In 2015, the Ferrari F12 TDF did a lap around Ferrari's Fiorano test track in a time of 1 minute 21 seconds, which is just slightly faster than the 488 Pista's time of 1:21.5 seconds. Currently, the fastest production Ferrari around Fiorano is the Ferrari SF90, which posted a time of 1 minute 19. McLaren Elva. Now, at number 9 on this list is the McLaren Elva, and this is quite a lot more exclusive than the McLaren Senna, seeing as they only made 149 examples. Originally, they were going to make 399, but apparently there wasn't enough demand. Part of McLaren's Ultimate series, the car has no roof or windscreen unless you choose one. The McLaren Elva had an MSRP of $1.695 million, which is pretty expensive. Now, when looking on DuPont Registry, there are quite a few Elvas for sale around the $2 million mark, and one asking $2.5 million that has a rare optional windscreen. The McLaren Elva has a similar 4-litre twin-turbocharged V8 to the Senna, but it produces even more power. Power is up 15 horsepower to 804 horsepower, but it has the same 590 pound-feet of torque as the Senna. Apparently, it will do 0 to 62 miles per hour in 2.8 seconds, 0 to 124 miles per hour in 6.8 seconds, and has a top speed of 203 miles per hour. It weighs in at 1,269 kilograms or 2,798 pounds. McLaren P1. Coming in at number 8 on this list is the stunning McLaren P1. There were only 375 P1s ever made, which makes them quite rare and expensive. It is the successor to the McLaren F1, which was the fastest car in the world for 15 years, hitting a top speed of 240.1 miles per hour. When the P1 first came to the market in 2013, it had an MSRP of $1.15 million, which is not exactly cheap. Nowadays, P1s are trading anywhere from $1.2 million all the way up to $2.9 million. The P1 has a 3.8-litre twin-turbo V8 that produces 727 horsepower and 530 pound-feet of torque. It also has an electric motor that produces 177 horsepower and 192 pound-feet of torque, for a combined total of 903 horsepower and 723 pound-feet of torque. Apparently it will do 0 to 62 miles per hour in 2.8 seconds, 0 to 124 miles per hour in 6.8 seconds, and it has a top speed of 217 miles per hour, or 3,284 pounds. The McLaren P1 managed to do a 1 minute 34.25 at the Anglesey International GP circuit. As a comparison, the McLaren Senna did a lap in 1 minute 31.35 seconds, almost 4 full seconds faster than the P1. Ferrari Monza SP2. So number 7 on this list is the Ferrari Monza SP2. Now Ferrari produced a total of 500 SP1s and SP2s, so it's a pretty limited car and extremely expensive. When the Ferrari Monza SP2 was offered to existing Ferrari customers, it had an MSRP of approximately $1.75 million. Now, when looking for examples for sale online, there are a few for sale for around $3.85 million, which is a pretty steep price increase since it came out, but to be fair, it is super limited. The Ferrari Monza SP2 has a naturally aspirated 6.5-litre V12 that produces 809 horsepower and 530 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 62 miles per hour arrives in just 2.9 seconds, and 0 to 124 miles per hour in 7.9 seconds. And it has a top speed of 188 miles per hour. In terms of weight, the SP2 weighs in at 1,519 kilograms, or 3,351 pounds. In terms of lap times, there isn't any data that I can find on this car, but I assume it would be somewhat similar to the 812 Superfast. Bugatti Chiron. Coming in at number 6 on this list is the Bugatti Chiron. Released in 2016, the Bugatti Chiron will only ever make 500 units. Now, an entry-level Bugatti Chiron, if you can call it that, has an MSRP of approximately $2.6 million back in 2016. Now, looking on DuPont Registry, there are a few examples for sale, with one car asking $3.9 million. Now, this is obviously more than the MSRP, but it's worth noting that the owner has probably spent literally hundreds of thousands of dollars speccing the car. Now, the Bugatti Chiron has an 8-litre W16 engine with 4 turbos that puts out 1,500 horsepower and 1,180 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 62 miles per hour arrives in just 2.4 seconds, and 0 to 100 miles per hour in just 4.9 seconds. It has a top speed of 261 miles per hour. In terms of weight, the Bugatti Chiron weighs in at 2,043 kilograms, or 4,504 pounds. Bugatti Chiron Supersport. So coming in at number 5 on this list is another Bugatti. This time it is the Bugatti Chiron Supersport. This variant of the Chiron has an MSRP of $3.825 million, but this price can go up to $4.3 million depending on the spec. Currently there are no Bugatti Chiron Supersports for sale that I can find, so it's a bit hard to know exactly what they would trade for. I assume, given the fact that there are so few available, that it will at least maintain its value. So the Chiron Supersport also has an 8-litre W16 engine with 4 turbos, but it has a little more power. Apparently it makes 1,578 horsepower, and then the same 1,180 pound-feet of torque. According to Current Driver, it has managed 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 2.2 seconds, 0 to 130 miles per hour in 6.1 seconds, the quarter mile at just 9.1 seconds at 161 miles per hour, and a top speed of 273 miles per hour. In terms of weight, it comes in at 2,080 kilograms, or 4,587 pounds. LaFerrari. Now coming in at number 4 on this list is one of my favourite cars, the Ferrari LaFerrari. Released back in 2013, it is the first Ferrari to have a hybrid drivetrain. With only 499 examples being produced, it is pretty rare, although the LaFerrari Aperta is even rarer, with only 210 examples made. When the LaFerrari was offered to its customers, it had an MSRP of $1.42 million, which is pretty expensive. But since then, prices have increased quite a lot. Looking on DuPont Registry, there are a couple of examples asking over $4 million. And then there is a LaFerrari Aperta asking up to $6.22 million. So the LaFerrari has a 6.3-litre V12 that puts out 789 horsepower and 516 pound-feet of torque. It also has an electric motor that produces an additional 161 horsepower and 199 pound-feet of torque. This combined makes 950 horsepower and 715 pound-feet of torque. According to Current Driver, 0 to 62 miles per hour happens in just 2.5 seconds. 0 to 130 miles per hour takes 7.5 seconds. A quarter mile takes 9.8 seconds with a trap speed of 150 miles per hour. Top speed is rated at 217 miles per hour. Weight is approximately 1,585 kilograms or 3,495 pounds. The LaFerrari has managed a lap time of 1 minute 19.7 at Fiorano, which is just slightly faster than the new 812 Competizione lap time of 1 minute 20. Ferrari F40 LM. Now coming in at number 3 on this list is the stunning Ferrari F40 LM. And as far as I know, it is a real LM, but let me know in the comments below if it's just a kit. Ferrari made 1,311 F40s, with only 19 of them being LM variations. When the Ferrari F40 was introduced back in 1987, it had an MSRP of $400,000 US. Now, if you account for inflation, this is the equivalent of just over $1 million in today's money. Now, as for the F40 LM, I'm not exactly sure what the price was when it was released, but I'm assuming it has gone up in value substantially. With the F40, there are a few examples for sale on DuPont Registry, asking up to $3.5 million. Now, back in 2019, RM Sotheby's sold an F40 LM for just over 4.84 million euros, which is pretty much the same in US dollars at the moment. So I assume other examples of the F40 LM would probably sell for a similar amount today. The F40 and the F40 LM both have a 2.9 litre turbocharged V8, but there is a fair bit of difference in the available power. The F40 produces 471 horsepower and 426 pound-feet of torque, whereas the F40 LM produces 720 horsepower and 521 pound-feet of torque. As for 0 to 62 miles per hour, the F40 will take 4.1 seconds and will reach a top speed of 201 miles per hour, whereas the F40 LM will do 0 to 62 in a claimed 3.1 seconds and has a top speed of 229 miles per hour. The weight of the F40 is approximately 1,254 kilograms, or 2,764 pounds. Then the F40 LM is substantially lighter, coming in at 1,050 kilograms, or 2,314 pounds. Maserati MC12. Coming in at number 2 on this list is the Maserati MC12. This car was created to homologate the model for international GT racing, and only 50 models of the MC12 road car were ever made. When the car was released back in 2006, it had an MSRP of around $810,000 US. Now, when it comes to the resale price of the MC12, there are a couple of cars that are asking wildly different prices. On the website, theparkingcars.com, there is an MC12 asking just over $3.99 million. And then if I scroll down a little further, there is one asking over $9.8 million, which sounds a bit much to me. Now, the engine in this car is based on the Ferrari Enzo. It has a very similar 6-litre V12 that produces 630 horsepower and 480 pound-feet of torque, which is 20 horsepower less than the Ferrari Enzo, that made 650 horsepower. 0 to 60 takes about 3.5 seconds, and the quarter mile happens in around 11.4 seconds. It has a top speed of just over 205 miles per hour, and the car has a curb weight of 1,335 kilograms, or 2,943 pounds. Now, apparently it lapped the Nürburgring back in 2008 in a time of 7 minutes 24.3, which at the time was a production car record. It was also slightly quicker than the Ferrari Enzo around the Nürburgring, which lapped it in a time of 7 minutes 25.25. Bugatti Divo. Now, the last car on this list, and the most expensive supercar I've seen in Monaco, is the Bugatti Divo. Bugatti only made 40 examples of the Divo, which makes it a pretty exclusive and expensive car. It had an MSRP of $5.8 million. So currently I can only find 2 Bugatti Divos for sale. The first one is on the website supercarsforsale.net, and it is asking $6.4 million. Then there is also one for sale on the website dialer.com, and that is asking just over $8 million. The Bugatti Divo has the same 8-litre W16 engine with 4 turbos. It puts out 1,500 horsepower and 1,180 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 62 miles per hour takes 2.4 seconds. Top speed is slightly slower than a regular Chiron at just 236 miles per hour. It is 35 kilograms lighter than a regular Chiron and comes in at 1,995 kilograms, or 4,398 pounds. So that wraps up all of the expensive supercars and hypercars I've seen in Monaco over the past few years. And if I had to choose just one, I would probably take the Bugatti Divo, as I think it looks amazing. But I'd love to know which car you guys would choose and why. Now, if you made it this far through the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe.